I rise today again to speak against this plan for deep mid-year cuts to critical services for some of the most vulnerable Iowans. For the past 8 years, state budgets of virtually every department have been frozen. This means fewer frontline workers providing essential services for Iowans, including making sure they are safe and sound. More recently, the governor, with the support of this legislature, has continued privatized Medicaid experiment that is unlike any other state in the nation. From the start, Iowans were worried that Medicaid privatization was going to be a bad deal for Medicaid recipients, health care providers, and Iowa taxpayers. Other states warned us that privatized Medicaid would lead to the denials of service and delayed and incorrect payments. Today I'm going to read a portion of an email that I received from a constituent this week who is trapped in the Medicaid maze. My daughter and I are now in the fight of our lives. Let me give you a background on my daughter. She was born 24 weeks at 1.5 pounds. She turned 23 on January 24th. After being hospitalized at birth for 8 months, we brought her home and began the hard work of trying to keep her alive and make her the best life it could possibly be. Her primary diagnosis was cerebral palsy with several other underlying diagnoses. She is confined to a wheelchair, is nonverbal, and is completely dependent on caregivers for her every need. All of her nutrition is given to her via feeding tube, none by mouth, as the rest of us are so accustomed to. Lung disorders and a weakened immune system to top that list. Given all that, she is a very happy young lady who has always lived at our home with her parents. Her father passed away 8 years ago, and I shouldered the task of caring for her myself while working outside the home full time. Her and her home nursing staff is the only way that has been possible. We live very simply, and we have attempted to live a full and happy life given all of the adversity. Today I was notified by Director Foxhoven that because my daughter is now 23 years old, she will no longer be eligible for EPSTD, and our hours will be cut only to those provided by respite care and IMMT. This is about 60 hours per month. DHS will not approve any further exemptions to this policy. Although I will fight this with every appeal possible, the outcome appears to be very bleak at this point. I cannot afford to quit my job as I am 1.5 years from retirement. I have no family members who are able to assist in caring for my daughter. If I am forced to resign my position, my daughter and I would both lose our home. My daughter knows and loves her home, and I believe if even I could find one, moving her to a facility would ultimately be her demise. She is very, very aware of the current life and has flourished in it. We have fought so hard to build a life where she would be happy and content, and it appears that is all now being jerked away from her. I also want to bring to your attention front page of the Newton Daily News yesterday. Progress Industries of Newton, which provides services for people with physical and intellectual disabilities, is planning to cut its budget over the next year because of this disastrous Medicaid privatization experiment. This is the first time in their 40-year history they have gone to the county to ask for a stipend to keep their doors open. I understand that today's budget does not directly affect Progress Industries or other Medicaid providers, but I am afraid that next year's picture is going to get worse and if this Medicaid privatization continues. It's a bad deal for parents, and it's a bad deal for companies like Progress Industries. And we know it's a bad deal for Iowa taxpayers. For all of those reasons, I will oppose these deep, reckless cuts. Thank you, Mr. President.